वरना नहीं जा सकते।
Good morning, students.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
All of you revise this diagram. What are the various parts of fused endothelial heart tube? What are the structures derived from each? Please go through. Only 138 students have joined. We'll wait for another 1 or 2 minutes. Are you clear with this? All of you? So this is before the formation of cardiac loop. cranial end to the caudal end. You will be having the various parts. Actually, this entire part is called as bulbous cordis, divided into proximal conus, distal truncus arteriosus. So truncus arteriosus gives rise to ascending aorta and pulmonary trunk. Conus is getting absorbed into the ventricle to form a right half will form the infundibulum of right ventricle, left half will form the aortic vestibule. Actually, this will be getting absorbed into the ventricle. So already ventricle will be divided into right and left. Atrioventricular canal will be divided into right and left. Like that, atrium. So here what happens? You have the sinus venosus with the two horns. So right horn and left horn. So this is important. What are all the veins opening into each horn? So the right side as well as left side. So left horn regresses to form our coronary sinus, but the right horn is getting enlarged. At the same time, it is getting absorbed into the atrium, right half of the primitive atrium to form posterior smooth part. What happens to these veins? Right common cardinal vein forms superior vena cava. Right umbilical vein disappears in the early stage itself. Right vitelline vein forms small part of IVC. So that's why your superior vena cava, IVC, as well as this coronary sinus, all are opening into the right atrium. So already we studied about the gross anatomy. So the last class, we have seen about the development of atria. Before that, this is also important. After the formation of cardiac loop, if you see that sinoatrial orifice, so this is the sinoatrial orifice, it will be horizontally placed after the enlargement of the right horn of the sinus venosus, at the same time regression of left horn of sinus venosus, it is vertically oriented. So initially it will be horizontal, later on it will be vertically oriented. It is guarded by your venous valves. So on the right side will be having right venous valve, left side will be having left venous valve. If you trace both venous valves are getting fused to form a septum called as septum spurium. So that septum spurium will be attached to roof of the common atrial chamber. So that is important. What is septum spurium? So today we are going to read about the development of interatrial septum. Interatrial septum, that is very, very important. Short notes for you. At the same time, it is important to understand that atrial septal defect. So what is septum spurium means? Sinoatrial, vertically oriented sinoatrial orifice is guarded by venous valves. Right side right venous valve, left side left venous valve. Both are connected together to form septum spurium. The septum spurium will be attached to the roof of the common atrial chamber. So that is your septum spurium. Later on, we will see what happens to this right and left venous valve. So this also already I told, your atrioventricular canal will be divided into right half and left half by the formation of atrioventricular septum. So the name is important. This is atrioventricular septum, or otherwise called as AV cushion. Okay, so right and dorsal and ventral, AV cushion or septum intermedium, all are same. Septum intermedium. Okay, so you are going to learn about other two septum also. So that's why all these septa are important. Name is important. What is septum spurium? What is septum intermedium? Septum intermedium is nothing but AV cushion. AV cushion is nothing but the septum formed in the atrioventricular canal to divide the atrioventricular canal into right half and left half. Be clear with that. So atrioventricular canal also divided into two. Now the development of atrium, first right atrium. So on the day itself I told anterior rough part is derived. Anterior rough part or anterior muscular part is derived from right half of the primitive atrial chamber. Posterior smooth part is derived from absorption of right horn of the sinus venosus. Very small part of right atrium is formed by right half of the AV canal, right half of the atrioventricular canal. So venous end already explained. So now how the right horn of the sinus venosus is getting absorbed into the your right half of the primitive atrial chamber. That only you are seeing through this diagram. All of you go through that diagram. The sinus venosus, right horn is getting enlarged, right umbilical vein disappeared. So right common cardinal vein we have to form your superior vena cava. Right vitelline vein is going to form IVC. Now this is the left horn of the sinus venosus. So that is forming your coronary sinus. So now this right horn of the sinus venosus is getting absorbed into this to form your posterior smooth part. Now you see it is getting absorbed. So this is the posterior smooth part. So with your right common cardinal, important for MCQ, right common cardinal vein forms superior vena cava, right vitelline vein forms your inferior vena cava, your left horn of the sinus venosus forms your coronary sinus. All are opening into the right atrium. So that is the development of right atrium. So it is very, very important. So already right atrium is very important essay question for you. In that one subdivision, maybe you will add a note on its development. Okay, so that is important. So now we will see about the formation of interatrial septum. So now 163 are there. Okay, so this is important, how that interatrial septum is formed. So already you studied about gross anatomy of right atrium. So anterior rough part, posterior smooth part, then you studied about septal wall. Anyone can explain what are all the features of septal wall? Pranav,
Yes, sir.
can you explain the septal wall of right atrium? What
Sir,
are all the
there
things
is
you
the
studied in
appearance.
the septal wall? Yes.
The first, there is the appearance of septum primum, sir.
I am not asking embryology, man. Gross anatomy, what you studied, septal wall.
Sir, the right horn forms the smooth part, which is the anterior. It
Do you
lies.
understand or not? I am asking septal wall.
So we haven't
I am
done
not
that.
asking about the anterior rough part or posterior smooth part. So that's what under this heading only you are reading right atrium. Anterior rough part, what are all the features? Posterior smooth part, what are all the features? Then septal wall means that is the wall that separates your right atrium and left atrium. What are all the features of
There
septal
is a
wall you studied
connection.
in gross anatomy?
Sir, foramen ovale is present, which is
Foramen ovale is not normal one. That is abnormal. Benita,
The force of
Benita,
Sir,
is what you studied about septal wall of right atrium.
sir. The foramen ovale converts into fossa ovalis, sir.
So in adult heart, you will be having fossa ovalis only. Fossa ovalis is the depression present in the septal wall. If you see the upper margin of the fossa ovalis, that is thickened to form another structure that is called as limbus fossa ovalis. Limbus fossa ovalis. So fossa ovalis is remnant of what? Limbus is remnant of what? That they have told while telling about your septal wall. I wanted to know that. That's why I
Fossa
asked.
ovalis is formed by
so
the
fossa ovalis is formed by
septum
septum primum and
the
limbus is formed by septum secundum.
So limbus is the remnant of septum secundum. Your fossa ovalis is the remnant of septum primum. That only we are going to learn now. That's why I am asking this. So septum spurium, you know, septum primum, septum secundum, we are going to learn. Septum intermedium is nothing but AV cushion. What the septum, what is formed in the atrioventricular canal is called as AV cushion. So this and all you should know now to understand the development of interatrial septum. So now you see this picture. So this is the common atrial chamber. See, all of you see the diagram. So what you are seeing here is the sinoatrial orifice. Sinoatrial orifice. What is this on the right side?
Right valve.
Right venous
Right venous valve. So this is left venous valve. Both are getting fused to form
septum
What?
spurium.
Septum sporium.
septum spurium. So this is septum spurium. So now during the formation of interatrial septum, now this is the right half of the primitive atrial chamber. This is the left half of the primitive atrial chamber. So this is AV canal. So this is the AV canal. So AV canal is getting divided into your right and left half by the formation of AV cushion. This AV cushion is otherwise called as septum intermedium. Now, during the formation of your interatrial septum, first we are having formation of the septum that is called as septum primum. So this is the septum primum. So this is the septum primum. So that septum primum starts from the roof of the common atrial chamber. So this is the roof of common atrial chamber. From there, the septum primum arises. So that septum primum descends downwards towards the your septum intermedium or AV cushion. Repeatedly, I am telling AV cushion is nothing but we are calling it a septum intermedium or atrioventricular septum or septum intermedium. So now you see that before the septum primum reaches your septum intermedium, we have an opening here. So this opening is called as foramen primum. Foramen primum. So through that, blood from the right atrium will go to left atrium. So this right to left shunt is important during the fetal life. Why? Why that blood from right atrium directly goes to the left atrium during fetal circulation?
So first, when the baby breathes, the blood, so for the full circulation of the blood.
This is not a function.
One word you can tell. In one word you can tell. Very good, very good. Lung is non-functional. Non-functional. So that's why blood from right atrium has to go to left atrium. So this shunt should be maintained till delivery. Till delivery, the blood from right atrium has to go to left atrium. So to bypass the your pulmonary circulation. So there is no liver, your lung is non-functional. So this opening should be there for the shunting of blood from right atrium to left atrium. For that, first we are having that opening that is between your septum primum and your septum intermedium. So that opening is called as foramen primum. Foramen primum or ostium primum. Both the same. In other books, it is given as ostium primum. So here in Longman's embryology, it is your introversing, it is given as foramen primum. Or all are same. Ostium means opening. Any ostium already you studied now in heart? Any ostium?
Ostium primum and ostium some second.
I think in embryology we are learning now. Already you studied about
In class, ma'am told.
ostium. What extraordinary class is going on now? Coronary arteries are over or not? Already over. You had vertical integrated class, isn't it? What is coronary ostium?
So the opening
Of ostium means opening. Coronary ostium. What is the origin of right and left coronary arteries?
This is the
Rohit Verma. Rohit Verma.
Yes, sir.
Yes, what is coronary ostium? Ostium means opening. That is a general terminology. What is coronary osteum? What is the origin of right and left coronary arteries? Another Rohit? Rohit Krishna?
Yes, sir.
What is coronary osteum? I am asking osteum, you know, or I am asking coronary osteum. I am asking putting another question. What is the origin of coronary arteries? At least from these clues, you should be
Aortic
able to-
valve is like sir, above aortic valve, this coronary arteries
From the
they
aortic sinus.
enter they enter the aorta, so they come from the aorta, that was called as the coronary ostium, the opening where the
that is the
these emerge
opening
from the-
present in the root of the ascending aorta.
Yes, sir.
Opening present in the root of the ascending aorta. The branches of ascending aorta are coronary arteries. Am I correct?
Yes.
Coronary arteries are
Yes,
branches
sir.
of ascending aorta. So the opening present in the ascending aorta, that gives rise to right and left coronary arteries are called as coronary osteum. That's all. Coronary osteum is the opening present in the root of the ascending aorta, opposite to the your aortic sinus. Opposite to the aortic sinus. You should know what you mean by aortic sinus also. So now we will go to embryology. So osteum primum or foramen primum. So that is the interval between the septum primum and your septum intermedium for shunting of blood from right atrium to left atrium. So slowly this septum primum descends downwards and fuses with your septum intermedium or AV cushion. So at that time, what happens? You will be having degeneration of your upper part of your septum primum to form the another opening. That opening is the next to be formed. That's why that is called as your foramen secundum or ostium secundum. That you can see now. Now you see that your septum primum has been fused with your septum intermedium. See this picture, previous picture and this. So this is coming down and getting fused with septum intermedium. By the time here you will be having necrosis of the upper part of your septum primum to form the another opening. So that is your foramen secundum or ostium secundum. So what is getting fused with your septum intermedium or AV cushion is the septum primum. So now you see shunting of blood takes place from right atrium to left atrium through your ostium secundum or foramen secundum. Now this should be closed after delivery. Till delivery, this opening should be maintained. So after delivery, this opening should be closed. So to close that opening, we have formation of another septum, that is your septum secundum, in between your septum spurium and septum primum. Note that. So this is septum spurium, this is your septum primum. So in between the two, once again from the roof of the common atrial chamber, note that point, both septum primum as well as septum secundum, both are getting originated from the roof of the common atrial chamber only. So they descend downwards and towards the your septum primum. The septum secundum descends downwards and overlaps your septum primum. So that you can see here. See that? So it is not completely fused. Your septum secundum is not completely getting fused with your septum primum. So it is overlapping. So now also the blood from right atrium will go to left atrium through this opening. So this opening is called as foramen ovale. Foramen ovale. What you are seeing in adult heart is fossa ovalis. Fossa ovalis. Here what you see is called as your foramen ovale. Foramen ovale. Okay. So now when this septum secundum is getting fused with septum primum, so that takes place immediately after delivery only. So immediately after delivery, after the first cry, the respiration is getting established So blood from right atrium has to go to right ventricle, not to the left atrium. So at that time, your septum secundum fuses completely with your septum primum. Okay, so that takes place after delivery only. So the complete development of intraatrial septum takes place after delivery only. So by the time your septum secundum will overlap your septum primum. So after delivery, this will be fused. So your septum secundum will fuse with your septum primum. Important point, what you have to note here, your septum secundum is not coming down to meet your AV cushion or your septum intermedium. That point you have to note. Only septum primum is getting fused with septum intermedium. This is septum intermedium. This is not coming down up to this level. It is overlapping your septum primum only. So that point is important. These are all the important points you should note. If you go to clinical set, you have to remember all these things. Both septum primum, septum secundum, both are descending down from the roof of the common atrial chamber. Some people used to tell septum primum is coming down from the roof, septum secundum is coming from your AV cushion like that. It is not like that. Both septum primum, septum secundum are descending down from the roof of the common atrial chamber only. So now after delivery, as we are having fusion of these two, you will be having complete formation of atrial interatrial septum. Once interatrial septum is formed, you will be having complete partition of right atrium and the left atrium. So that is the development of interatrial septum. Once again, I will repeat. So first, the septum, what is formed is called as septum primum. So that starts from the roof of the common atrial chamber, left to the septum spurium, left to the septum spurium. From there, it descends downwards towards septum intermedium. Before it reaches the septum intermedium, the opening is there. So that opening is called as ostium primum or foramen primum. So that is important for the shunting of blood from right to left. So slowly that septum primum comes and reaches your septum intermedium or AV cushion. So it comes down. By the time the foramen primum will be closed. Suppose if there is any defect in this, descending down of septum primum down to the septum intermedium, this opening may persist. Okay, so that may lead to atrial septal defect. Okay, if failure of descending down of septum primum to the septum intermedium, so this opening may persist. So that is called as ostium primum type of atrial septal defect. Ostium primum type or foramen primum type of atrial septal defect. Okay, so now normally it is getting fused. By the time, due to the degeneration of your upper part of your septum primum, the another opening is formed here, so that is your foramen secundum. So that foramen secundum is closed by the formation of another septum, once again from the roof of the common atrial chamber, between your septum spurium and septum primum. Left to the spurium, right to the septum primum, we have formation of septum secundum. So that septum secundum descends downwards and overlaps your septum primum that has been fused already with septum intermedium. So that pattern opening will be maintained for the shunting of blood from right atrium to left atrium till delivery. Once the delivery occurs, the respiration starts, the pulmonary circulation will be starting. So here you will be having fusion of septum secundum with septum primum to form our complete interatrial septum. So that's why the fossa ovalis is down. That is considered in the septal wall. Fossa ovalis we have, that is considered as remnant of septum primum. Limbus is above, that is considered as remnant of septum secundum. So now if there is any defect in the formation of your septum secundum, that also leads to another type of atrial septal defect, that is called as foramen secondum type or ostium secondum type. So that is the another type of atrial septal defect. Third type of atrial septal defect is patent foramen ovale. So already I told this is called as foramen ovale. Sometimes even after delivery also this will be patent. So that is called as patent foramen ovale. So these are the three types of atrial septal defect. Your ostium primum type, ostium secondum type, patent foramen ovale. So these are the three types of atrial septal defects. Okay, ASD. We used to tell us ASD. So that is the atrial septal defect. Now, after the formation of this interatrial septum, what happens to this right and left venous valve? Left venous valve will be attached to the interatrial septum. What happens to the right venous valve is important next. So already we studied about the gross anatomy of your right atrium. So anterior rough part, posterior smooth part. Am I correct? Saktivel?
Yes, sir.
Am I correct? Anterior rough part, posterior smooth part, or it is reversal.
Sir, correct, sir.
I am correct. Okay. So what is that structure that divides the anterior rough part and posterior smooth part? Do you have any structure that is separating your anterior rough part and posterior smooth part? Any structure is there? Sachin?
Sir?
Sachin, any
Sir.
structure is there separating your anterior rough part and posterior smooth part? Siddharth?
Yes, sir.
Yes. What is that structure that separates anterior rough part and posterior smooth part?
Sir, Krishna terminalis.
Yes, crista terminalis. So if you see on the external surface, you will be having an elevation completely separating your anterior rough part and posterior smooth part. That is called as crista terminalis. Sorry, that elevation will be on the inner aspect. Outer aspect, you will be having a depression at that corresponding side. That is called as sulcus terminalis. Sulcus terminalis on the outer aspect. The inner aspect, you will be having crista terminalis. What is that structure getting originated from that?
So
What
muscular
is getting very good, musculi pectinative. So that will act like a stem. From the stem, you will be having muscle fibers of right atrium called as musculi pectinative. Musculi pectinative. So that crista terminalis, you see that here. So this is the left venous valve that is getting fused with interatrial septum. So this right venous valve is getting expanded to form our crista terminalis. So right venous valve forms our crista terminalis. Next, is there any valve guarding your IVC opening?
station wall.
Eustachian valve.
Is there any valve guarding your superior vena cava opening?
No, sir.
No valve for superior vena cava, but you have valve for your IVC as well as valve for your opening of coronary sinus. What is that valve of coronary sinus?
Hebasian wall.
Hebasian valve. This is Eustachian valve. So that two valves of the IVC, valve of coronary sinus, and your crista terminalis. Crista terminalis are derived from right venous valve. Important for MCQ. So left venous valve is completely getting fused with interatrial septum. Right venous valve is getting expanded due to the your expansion of your right horn of the sinus venosus to form your crista terminalis, valve of IVC, and valve of coronary sinus. So that is the fate of your right and left venous valve. So see here now. So this is your crista terminalis. derived from your right venous valve. So this is left venous valve that is getting fused with atrial septum. So now valve of coronary sinus, valve of IVC and crista terminalis are derived from this right venous valve. See that how that right venous valve is getting expanded to this much size to form your crista terminalis, then valve of IVC and valve of coronary sinus. So that is the fate of your right and left venous valves. Now we will see about the development of left atrium. So that is very simple. So structurally, what is the difference between your right atrium and the left atrium? Gross anatomy.
Posterior part is smooth in the right atrium.
Left atrium.
It's look
Which part is smooth?
So the bulbous cord is
Bulbous cord is. Bulbous cord is.
so the opening next to the veins. I have no idea.
How do you get confused with the bulbous cord is and the atrium? Pranav only told, isn't it?
yes, sir. No, sir, that's the wrong answer.
See here. So this is bulbous cord is. This is atrium. Okay. Bulbous cord is conus is getting absorbed into the ventricle only, not into the atrium.
So the outflowing
is-
part, sir.
Huh?
Outflowing
The
part
part where the vessels emerge around that portion.
Outflowing part of.
of the right.
My question is, what is the structural difference between your right atrium and left atrium?
Sir, right atrium
Yes.
has openings for superior and inferior vena cava, but left atrium has for the pulmonary.
Only pulmonary veins are opening. Okay. Anything else? Interior. If you see the interior, it is entirely smooth. If you take your right atrium, anterior part is rough, posterior part is smooth, we are telling. But here, if you take your left atrium, entire left atrium is smooth. Okay, so you won't see that muscle fibers, pectinate muscle fibers in the left atrium. So that is there only in the left auricle, not in left atrium. So the muscle fibers are there in the your appendage of left atrium, that is your left auricle, not in your left atrium. If you open and see the entire left atrium is smooth. But in case of right atrium, only posterior part is smooth. Why? Saravanan? 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 Are you there in the meeting or not? Who is Saravanan roommate? Hello? Who is Saravanan roommate? What I asked, I forgot the question now.
So you asked why the left atrium is smooth.
Why posterior part of right atrium is smooth?
So right atrium or left atrium?
Posterior part of right atrium is smooth.
Because the right
Like,
horn of
I got
sinus
absorption, the right horn of sinus
Absorption of
velocity
right horn of
is
sinus.
by right atrium, that's why.
Yes, as that posterior part is derived from sinus venosus, it is smooth. It is called the sinus venarum part. So like that, if you see the development of your left atrium, see this in this all these pictures. Left to the intraatrial septum, you are able to make out one opening. See that. So it is given as opening of pulmonary vein. Are you able to make out?
Yes,
So
sir.
how many
Yes,
pulmonary
sir.
veins are opening here?
So 4.
Four
Primary.
Here in this picture.
Sir, only one.
One.
Note that only one vein is there in the beginning. Okay, but in adult we are seeing 4 pulmonary veins, 2 on each side. Superior and inferior pulmonary veins on the right side, superior and inferior pulmonary veins on the left side we have. So now you see in all these pictures you are seeing only one opening. Am I correct? Only one pulmonary vein is opening in each. Now you see if you take the development of your left atrium, see that. So this is opening of your pulmonary vein into the left half of the primitive atrial chamber. That one pulmonary vein is getting divided into 2. Slowly that is getting absorbed into this your left half of the primitive atrial chamber. So next if you see, now you are able to make out 2 openings. So initially one pulmonary vein that is getting divided into 2. So slowly that is also getting absorbed into this your left half of the primitive atrial chamber. So when this part is getting absorbed into the left atrium, you are seeing 2 openings. Now if you see this each division, they are getting divided into 2. You see this side 2, this side 2. So they are also getting absorbed into this your primitive left half of the primitive atrial chamber. That's why finally we are getting 4 openings, 4 pulmonary veins. So like this, the entire left atrium is formed by the absorption of pulmonary vein only. That's why the entire left atrium is smooth. What happens to that left half of your primitive atrial chamber? That entire chamber where we have muscle fibers forms only the your left auricle. So entire left atrium is formed by the absorption of this pulmonary vein only. Now you see the next picture, you can understand. See this. So this is your left half of the primitive atrial chamber with the muscle fibers. So this is your pulmonary vein opening, one pulmonary vein opening. So this part is getting absorbed to form this smooth part of your left atrium. So next 2 veins are opening. Some half of that left atrium is formed. Now another two veins are opening. So entire left atrium is formed. So that the entire left atrium, what is given in blue color for understanding purpose, is formed by the absorption of pulmonary veins only. That's why entire left atrium is smooth. Now the leftover small muscular part forms your left auricle. So be clear, in the school you used to tell atrium also auricle, but be clear, as a medical student, we have 2 atria, 2 ventricle, right atrium, left atrium. That's what you have to tell. Auricle is there, that is appendage, rudiment. So if you see the right atrium, the right atrial appendage, you can call it as right auricle. Like that, left auricle are there. So that is appendage, but the main chamber is right atrium and left atrium. That's what you have to tell. In the school, people used to read as auricle, it seems. Some of the students used to tell right auricle, left auricle, like that. It is there, it is appendage. The main chamber is right atrium and left atrium. So that's what we are getting your entire left atrium as a smooth chamber because of the development. So entire left atrium is derived by the absorption of this pulmonary vein slowly. First one vein getting divided into 2. So next each dividing into 2. That's why finally we are having 4 pulmonary veins opening into the left atrium. So this if you go to the development of left atrium, left half of the primitive atrial chamber forms your auricle only. So small part of left half of the AV canal is also involved, but mainly it is formed by the absorption of pulmonary veins only. So that is the development of left atrium. So now we have seen development of right atrium, development of left atrium. We have seen interatrial septum, interatrial septum, development of intra-atrial septum. So that concludes the development of both atria and the intra-atrial septum. Now see this picture. All of you go through all these three pictures. You tell about the defect. A, B, C. So this is atrial septal defect, or otherwise called as ASD.
So first one is septum primum, second one is septum secundum, the third one is the fossa. No, what is that?
Sir, patent foramen ovale is C.
Foramen ovale.
C is very good. Anyone you try to tell. C is patent foramen ovale. Who is telling now?
Sir, Shriya.
Shriya. Yes. C is patent foramen ovale. Okay. What about A and B?
Sir, A is ostium primum defect.
Yes, it is called as ostium primum type, not a septum primum type. Okay, so your ostium primum is patent here. The defect is due to failure of meeting of your septum primum with septum intermedium. Okay, so your ostium primum is not closed. It should be closed by the meeting of your septum primum with septum intermedium. That's why this type is called as ostium primum type, not septum primum type. Okay, so yes, Priya, next one.
So B is ostium secundum type of interatrial.
Ostium secundum type. Why means here the septum primum has been fused with your septum intermedium. So ostium primum is closed, but ostium secundum is not closed. That is due to failure of formation of septum secundum. Septum secundum may not be formed, or it may not descend down up to the level of your septum primum. That's why this type is called as ostium secundum type. So these are the three types of atrial septal defect. So important thing is you should be able to explain the basic embryological basic of your these three types of atrial septal defect. So that only your SLO in this class. Okay. So how do we get ostium primum type, ostium secundum type, and your patent foramen ovale? Saudanya, 122, Saudanya. Saudanya is not there. Saudanya, meeting is getting recorded, so this is the attendance for you. Saudanya number is 122. Already I called Srinivas. What happened to Srinivas? 125?
Yes, sir. I was present, sir.
Already you didn't open your mouth. I asked your roommate also. Who is your roommate?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
No. I asked about Srinivas.
another was calling, sir.
What?
Srinivas
Oh,
calling.
I called as Saravanan. Oh, sorry.
Yes, sir.
Srini. That you would have told. There is no Saravanan at all. That why can't you tell? Yes, somebody wanted to tell. Yes, Srinivas, you explain this. What is the embryological basis of your A, B, and C?
Sir, the septum
Srinivas?
primum, sir. The septum
Srinivas?
primum, sir. Sir,
Only I corrected that. Once again, you should not do the same mistake. Somebody told that is septum primum type, then I corrected it.
Sir, septum ostium, sir, first.
No, what septum ostium? Septum is septum, ostium is opening. What do you want to tell?
Ostium primum, sir.
Ostium primum type.
Ostium secundum, sir.
B. First you tell A, B, C are there.
Okay.
A is
Ostium primum, sir.
ostium primum. Complete it, man. Ostium primum type of atrial septal defect. Are you clear?
Yes, sir.
That is due to what? What is the reason for that?
the full fusion with the AV wall, sir. AV.
Sharad Dev. Sharad Dev. 112. Sharad Dev. Sharad Dev is there or not? Already 177. Sharad Dev 112. Yes, Priya.
Yes,
Priya,
sir.
anatomy student race. Can you explain for the students?
Yes, sir.
A is
Sir,
ostium second primum type or secondum type. Why?
yes, sir. The septum primum may fail to reach, sir.
Fail to reach the septum intermedium.
Yes, sir.
So first one is ostium primum type. Okay. Yes, B1.
That is septum secondum defect, sir.
Septum இல்லமா defect சொல்லும்போது ostium
Okay.
secondum type.
Ostium secondum.
Repeatedly I am correcting that you people are doing the
defect,
same
sir.
mistake. B is ostium secondum type. Reason
Yes,
is failure of formation of septum secondum.
secondum.
That is not coming down to meet your septum primum. Yes, third was C1. Patent foramen oval. Both septum primum as well as septum primum is there, septum secondum is there. So only fusion is not there. This is patent foramen oval type. Patent foramen oval. Okay, so this is your atrial septal defect. Another important short note for you. Instead of asking what is the development of your intra-atrial septum, we can ask what is septal defect, what are the various types. In that for that question also, you have to write about your development of intra-atrial septum. Then only you have to come to this. Okay, are you clear, all of you, about intra-atrial septum?
Yes.
So this is
Yes,
very
sir.
important for a UG student. What is the development of atria and the septum? The atrial septal defect. So now development of ventricles. So that is very simple. The beginning itself I told. So already we have ventricle. So this is the ventricular part of your fused endothelial heart tube. Once the septum is formed here, it will be divided into right half and left half. So right half will be the right ventricle, left half will be the left ventricle. Now another change takes place during the formation of your cardiac loop. This is your bulbous cord is already told. So this is conus. The conus is getting absorbed. Conus is getting absorbed into the ventricle. So already conus, what are all the structures formed, you know. So conus is forming infundibulum of right ventricle, aortic vestibule of the left ventricle. So this conus is getting absorbed into the ventricle. So conus forms your infundibulum and aortic vestibule. Your ventricle, entire ventricular chamber forms right and left ventricle. So what we need here is the septum only. So if the interventricular septum is formed here, so the main part of the ventricular chamber will be divided into right and left. Now we need another septum separating your infundibulum and aortic vestibule. That is the septum called as bulbar septum. Why means this is called as bulbous cordis, isn't it? So conus is part of your bulbous cordis only. So that's why that septum is called as bulbar septum. So this interventricular septum, bulbar septum, and the septum that is formed in the truncus to separate your ascending aorta and pulmonary trunk will be continuous with each other. It is a continuous septum. So the septum is oriented spirally. That's why that is called as spiral septum. So that we will see next. Now all of you see this picture. Common ventricular chamber. This is atrium. So AV. So this is the AV opening or AV canal. There already we studied septum has been formed atrioventricular cushion. Now this is your common ventricular chamber. Now see this picture. So here first we are going to see about the development of interventricular septum. So now in this common ventricular chamber, first we are having formation of a septum separating the common ventricle into right and left. So here that septum is getting originated from the floor of the common ventricular chamber. From the floor of the common ventricular chamber, we have formation of the septum. So that is the difference between the development of interventricular septum and interatrial septum. So interatrial septum, I was going on insisting that the septum primum as well as septum secundum both are getting originated from the roof of the common atrial chamber. But here the interventricular septum begins with the formation of septum that arises from the floor of the common ventricular chamber. Now we see this A and B. So now this is the interventricular septum. It is getting originated from the floor of the common ventricular chamber. From there it is going up. From there it is ascending upwards. Now already I told you have septum, bulbar septum. So that bulbar septum is nothing but that is the septum that separates your infundibulum of right ventricle and the aortic vestibule of the left ventricle. What about the left ventricular? Left ventricle class is over. You know,
No, sir.
Grass anatomy.
No, sir.
Yeah.
No.
Left ventricle is not taken, sir.
I don't know.
No. Every heart is over.
But it
That's
was
student.
Sir, only right atrium and right ventricle was given as a topic, na, sir,
yes.
that class.
Left ventricle not so that will be practical question. So for right ventricle interior, you know, isn't it? So if you open your right ventricle, you will be having actually mainly this is practical, so that is the problem. So anyhow, I have allotted 2 days for your heart. 2 days you will be reading very external features and internal features of heart. Coming Thursday you will be having
So we did that.
pardon?
So we did that external features and internal features of the heart, but we didn't do the ventricle on the left side, I think. I don't know.
Okay. The left ventricle you have to see, otherwise nothing is there to explain. So that's why I wanted to tell now. If you open your right ventricle, so the main difference between right ventricle and left ventricle is what is the main difference
The
between
right
ventricle and
ventricle is thinner walls, and the left ventricle is
yes, wall will be very thick for your left ventricle. So if you take your right ventricle, you have the muscle fibers of right ventricle, isn't it? Called as
Septum trabeculae.
septum trabeculae.
Sir, trabeculae
You
carnic.
can't give it
Trabeculae, sorry, sir.
Sir, trabeculae carnic.
Trabeculae carneae. Trabeculae carneae is the ventricular muscle fiber. Pectinate muscle fibers are muscle fibers of atrium. Okay, so trabeculae carneae are there. What are the 3 types?
Ridge, bridge, and pillars.
Ridge. Example you have to tell me.
The ridge, when the both
Just elevation of the trabeculae carneae is called as ridge. Yes.
sir, in bridge the central part is free,
Free. Very good.
attached, and pillars are papillary.
Papillary muscles.
One
So
side
like
is-
that, you will be having trabeculae carneae in the left ventricle. But here, if you see right ventricle, you have inflowing part. Am I correct? Inflowing
sir.
part and outflowing part. Inflowing part is muscular. So your right atrium, from the blood from right atrium comes to the right ventricle through right atrioventricular orifice. So that part is the inflowing part, that is rough. We have outflowing part also. So that outflowing part is smooth. So that only called as infundibulum. Okay, now if you see your left ventricle, entire left ventricle is muscular. So you will be having more number of trabecular corneae. The arrangement will be more complicated when compared to your right ventricle. As you have more trabecular cornea, the wall will be very thick. If you see that corresponding part of infundibulum, it is very, very small. So close to the root of the aorta, you will be having a very small smooth part that you have to put your finger and feel. Otherwise, you can't see that aortic vestibule. So that is the very small smooth part of your left ventricle. Otherwise, entire left ventricle is muscular, just opposite to left atrium. So entire left atrium is smooth. Here entire left ventricle is muscular. Only very small part close to the root of the aorta, close to the origin of aorta, you will be having that aortic vestibule. Both are derived from your conus part of bulbous bodies. The septum separating the two is the bulbar septum. Now you see that your interventricular septum is getting originated from the floor and going up. The bulbar septum is formed in that conus, so that is slowly somewhat coming down. Now in between areas there, that in between area is important. Okay, if you take your interventricular septum, so it is divided into muscular part and membranous part. So the muscular part is larger one, membranous part is smaller one. So that is your interventricular septum. How that membranous part is formed, we will see. So what is formed already is the muscular part. So the lower part of the interventricular septum is muscular. Now you see this. What is this?
AV cushion.
AV cushion. AV. What is AV cushion?
Septum intermedium.
Septum intermedium. So already you know that your septum primum is coming down and meeting your septum intermedium during the development of your intra-atrial septum. Now here also the proliferation of AV cushion is important for the completion of interventricular septum. So that interventricular, for the development of interventricular septum, we have contribution from your AV cushion or septum intermedium. Now see the next picture. See that. So for understanding purpose, it is given in pink color. So this interval is filled by the proliferation of AV cushion as well as little bit descending down of bulbar septum. Descending down of bulbar septum leads to closure of this upper part of your interventricular septum. So this part is called as membranous part. So the membranous part is derived by the proliferation of AV cushion as well at the same time fusion of this one with your bulbar septum. So this is the upper part, otherwise membranous part. So the ventricular septal defect is more common in the membranous part only. As we have fusion of your AV cushion, bulbar septum as well as your muscular part, the interventricular septal defect is more common in the membranous part. So if you take your interventricular septum, first thing what you should know is we have muscular part, larger muscular, so your lower part, upper part is membranous. So the defect in the membranous part is more common. Why? The reason is all these three are getting fused there. Your bulbar septum, AV cushion, proliferation of AV cushion, bulbar septum is descending down little bit. So it joins with your septum intermedium, proliferated septum intermedium. Now this intermuscular part of interventricular septum also getting fused to form your membranous part. That's why defect is more common in this membranous part. Now you see all the parts of septa are in continuous with each other. This is spiral septum, bulbar septum, your proliferated AV cushion. Okay, now this is your muscular part. So that is the development of interventricular septum. It is very simple, isn't it? Not like your atrial septum. Okay, septum, secundum, septum, primum, septum, intermedium, septum, sporium, everything is there. But here it's very simple. So initially we have formation of interventricular septum getting originated from the floor of your common ventricular chamber. It is ascending upwards. Okay, so it is not completely getting fused with your bulbar septum. Why means that interval is there. That interval is filled by the proliferation of AV cushion. AV cushion. So that is your upper part of your interventricular septum, otherwise called as membranous septum. So there may be defect in the proliferation of AV cushion, or there may be defect in the descending down of bulbar septum, leading to defect in the membranous part. So that is called as ventricular septal defect. Ventricular septal defect. Once the septum is formed, so these right ventricle and left ventricles are getting separated. So already I told conus is getting absorbed into it. So conus forms your infundibulum and aortic vestibule. So that is the development of interventricular septum and the ventricles. So now this point is important. Students, right atrium you studied. Anything you studied as torus aorticus in the right atrium?
No, sir.
No, torus aorticus. So torus means any elevation. Aorticus means that may be produced by aorta that is present in the right atrium. So in the right atrium, you have one elevation called as torus aorticus. That is, torus means elevation, simple word. That is similar to ostium. This is torus means elevation that is formed due to your aortic sinus. Okay, so are you getting any confusion in that? Simply I am telling where we have aorta, where we have right atrium. No doubt. Just imagine. You know the location of right atrium. You know the location of left ventricle. So from the left ventricle only we are getting your aorta, isn't it? Ascending aorta. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Anything you studied as aortic sinus?
Yes, sir.
Yes, very good. What is aortic sinus? How many are there? Sudha?
Sir, aortic sinus is like it's there in the aorta's wall, sir.
Aorta, only one aorta we have. Okay. Finally,
Yes, sir.
we have only one aorta, not aortas.
No, sir,
Okay,
aorta. In the wall of aorta.
Plural of aorta is aorta. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Yes, you tell. Aortic sinus, what is it?
So it's dilations in the
Very good. Dilatation,
aorta,
dilatation in the root of aorta.
ascending aorta, sir.
Very
So
good, very good.
the three aortic sinuses, sir.
Very good, very good, very good. 3 aortic sinuses are there. Pranav is going to explain it.
Sir, one is anterior aortic sinus, one is left posterior and right posterior.
So one anterior, two posterior. One is right, one is left. So aortic sinus for other students, it is nothing but if you see the root of ascending aorta, where you will be having attachment of the valves. So they are the semilunar valves. Semilunar valves are guarding the aortic orifice. Usually we will be having 3 semilunar valves. Okay. So one is anterior, 2 are posterior. So opposite to this attachment of the aortic wall, you will be having dilatation in the wall of aorta. Dilatation in the wall of aorta, that is called as aortic sinus. For other students, if you are hearing first time, means note that at the root of ascending aorta or at the site of origin of ascending aorta from the left ventricle, you will be having three semilunar valves guarding it. The three semilunar valves are nothing but one anterior, two posterior. Two posterior, right and left, right posterior and left posterior. So now opposite to the attachment of these semilunar valves, you will be having dilatation in the wall of aorta. So that dilatation is called as aortic sinus. So corresponding to the semilunar valves, you will be having aortic sinus. One anterior, two posterior aortic sinuses are there. So one anterior, two posterior. Already in the beginning of the class, I asked about coronary ostium. So the coronary ostium is present in this aortic sinus only. That gives rise to origin of your coronary arteries. Yes, Hema Prabha, number 48. Hema Prabha, number 48. Hema Prabha. There or not? Hema Prabha. Yes, 48. Yes, please tell what is the origin of the right coronary artery? What is the origin of left coronary artery? Yes, yes, come out. What is the origin of right coronary artery? What is the origin of left coronary artery? Devi Bala, number 35. Devi Bala.
Yes, sir.
Yes. What is the origin of coronary arteries, right and left? Sorry, students. Even now, after 6 months, you people are like this, means it's not good. So in embryology class, I am talking about gross anatomy. The beginning of the year, okay. Now almost 6 months over. Still, you are like this, means I don't know when you are going to learn all these things. Already coronary artery class over. We have taken anatomy, physiology, and you are applied aspect medicine also. Then what is the use of that integrated classes? If you don't know the origin of coronary arteries, what is the use?
Right coronary
So
artery.
right arises from the anterior aortic sinus.
From anterior
Left
aortic
arises from
sinus.
left posterior
Posterior
sinus.
aortic sinus.
So which is free now? Out of three aortic sinuses, which is free?
Right
The right posterior aortic sinus.
Right posterior aortic sinus is free. So this is called as non-coronary aortic sinus. Non-coronary aortic sinus. So this non-coronary aortic sinus produces an elevation in the right atrium. So that is called as torus aorticus. Torus aorticus. That shows that you are reading only your what is it? Vishram Singh. You are not referring any other book to find out any other extra point. Whatever teacher vomits, you people are reading the same thing. You are not putting any extra effort to learn something extra. I don't know whether it is given in your book or not, but this is torus aorticus. So now I explained what is aortic sinus. So the right posterior aortic sinus is called as non-coronary aortic sinus. That produce elevation in the right atrium, that only called as torus aorticus. Just to imagine where we have ascending aorta, how it can produce elevation in the right atrium. That doubt you should get. Where left ventricle aorta, where we have right atrium, how it can produce that elevation. So to explain that, first you see this picture. So labeling is not there. What do you understand? What is this?
The
Septum secondum.
Septum secondum. Very good. This is
Septum
prime
primum.
membrane.
very good. This is
AV cushion.
AV cushion.
very good. Very good. Very good. This is
Interventricular septum.
this is
Bulbous.
bulbar septum.
Bulbar septum.
So now you already know that your proliferation, your or otherwise septum intermedium is involved in the development of atrial septum as well as ventricular septum. Isn't it? Yes or no? Septum intermedium is involved in your development of your intra-atrial septum as well as interventricular septum. Now you see that meeting of your septum primum with septum intermedium is at one point. Meeting of your bulbar septum and your septum medium is another point. So this interval is there. This interval is there. Now you see the next picture. You see that. So this is intra-atrial septum. This is interventricular septum. So this small part of interventricular septum that is contributed by your proliferation of septum intermedium separates your left ventricle and right atrium. See this small part. Now this is right atrium, this is left atrium. Right atrioventricular orifice guarded by tricuspid valve. So this is your left atrioventricular orifice guarded by your mitral valve. Now you see that so this small part, why that difference comes? Because of this meeting of your intra-atrial septum, interventricular septum in the septum intermedium is not at the same point. Your interventricular septum is somewhat to the right. Inter-atrial septum is somewhat to the left. So this small part of septum intermedium that forms your interventricular septum separates your right atrium and the right ventricle, sorry, your left ventricle. So now from here you will be having origin of your aorta. So the right non-coronary aortic sinus will be here. That produce elevation here. So that only called as torus aorticus. Torus aorticus. Very nice picture to understand this concept. Even if you don't know, leave it. If you understand, it is well and good. Okay, so that is torus aorticus. How that small part of interventricular septum separates your right atrium and the left ventricle, you can understand from these two pictures only. Are you clear, students, now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Nothing is there to explain. If you see the picture, you can understand. So that is torus aorticus. Okay, so the interventricular septum is not only separating your right ventricle and left ventricle, very small membranous part separates your left ventricle and right atrium also, very small part. So the right non-coronary aortic sinus location will be here. So that produce elevation here in the right atrium. So that only called as torus aorticus. Okay, students, now we have studied about the development of interventricular septum and formation of the ventricles. So see this small video. Remaining things we will see in the next class. So that is your septum primum descending down to meet your septum intermediate. At the same time, interventricular septum down. So that is a very nice formation of your ostium secundum. So the septum secundum is coming down, overlapping with your septum primum. So now this is your so both are simultaneously we have formation of your septum interventricular septum and your now you concentrate sorry next video. partitioning of ventricle as well as atrium, both are taking place. Now you concentrate this ventricular part. See that ventricular septum going up towards your septum intermedium. Concentrate this now, forming muscular interventricular septum. Now the septum intermedium is proliferating to complete this interval. That is the formation of your. So it is otherwise called as primary interventricular foramen. This part I will tell in that picture. This part is called as primary interventricular septum. So that only forms your membranous part, that is formed mainly by the proliferation of AV cushion and the descending down of bulbar septum. Okay, so that concludes the development of ventricles as well as your atria, interventricular septum and your interatrial septum. In the next class, we will see about spiral septum and other congenital cardiac anomalies. Okay, so once again, number 122 is not there in the meeting. Number 112 is not there in the meeting. Am I correct? 112 Sharad Dev sleeping in the hostel, it seems. Saudanya is not there. So both of you will be marked as absent. Okay, students, I will end the meeting now. So once again, we will meet on Saturday for the final embryology, heart embryology class.
Sir,
Yes.
he is my roommate only, sir.
Who is your Saudanya roommate?
Oh, yes, sir. My mic is not able to hear, sir.
Who is talking now?
Saudanya, sir. 122.
Always you have that problem, it seems. Previous 2 classes also I called you. You never responded.
No, sir. Right now my mic is in unmute only, sir. But what I'm speaking is not able to. Anyone couldn't hear, sir. So that's why I'm talking.
What's your number?
122, sir.
But you are talking in number 97.
Oh, yes, sir. My mic is not working, sir.
That's what I am asking. Always it is not working, or today only it is not working.
I don't know.
2-3 times I called you, you never responded. We
I
marked as absent also, but there is no response from your side.
No, sir. I made a text from my phone, sir.
So this is the first time I am hearing your voice. Okay, students, I will end the meeting now. We will meet on Saturday once again.
So what's the afternoon class, sir?
Pardon?
What's the
Afternoon class, you have something. Yes, Dr. Aishwarya class is there. Thoracic duct, Asega swing. So this week schedule I will put in the group now. We made schedule for only 1 week as we have some confusion in that. So I will put that schedule in the group now. Okay.
Yes,
Thank you, students. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.